Hey y'all, it's day X of the quarantine, and basically I am continuing to work for my social media content. So basically I thought that while I'm doing my basic makeup and everything, I'm just gonna talk and I'm going to talk to you about one thing that actually came across my mind the last time, but I was just like, okay, we don't have enough time to cover too many things, so let me just cover it up in another story of my life. Well, my life, or the life of my family, if you will. I wanted to ask you, if you will, do you have parents that are super against your body modifications, or they are very strict, so you kind of feel restricted and you kind of cannot do whatever you want? Well, my family was very, very strict towards me. My mother just literally was super overwhelming sometimes, and especially when it came to any kind of body modifications. No, she was always saying no. Oh, you know what? Piercings and tattoos are for drug addicts and all of that, and she was very, very against it, and she was like, no, my daughter would never do that. You know, on the level of only the lowest class of society would ever provide themselves with tattoos or piercings, etc. When I was a teenager, a lot of people who I came across, they actually were condemning people who had even another hair color or hairstyle, and think about something else. Think about the piercing and any kind of body modification. So several countries till date are in the way against the tattoos or piercings. Not every country, but some countries feel that, or some society feels that, oh, if you are doing a tattoo, means that you are kind of part of mafia, or dirty, or you are into drugs, or you are just out of jail. For example, when I went to Moscow once, people were looking at me and they're like, oh, so what, you've been to jail? And I'm like, no, weird, stop it, what the fuck, right? So that was the thing. The trip to Moscow, I will tell you later how it went. It was the worst city ever. You have no idea. I had so much shit there. Oh girl, I have to be prepared psychologically to just literally speak about it. So continue with my mom versus my tattoos. So what happened is that at one point I've done the first body modification, and my first body modification is my piercing. So I was 18, quietly 18, and I thought that it would be a great idea to have a piercing, because I just wanted to have it. And I thought that I'm entitled, and I thought that since I am earning, and since I'm alone, and since everything, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do the piercing. I've done the belly piercing. It was not that hardcore actually as a pain, but the healing process was a little bit long. It was healing in I think 1 month it healed, because I had some problems with that, but nothing special. So after that, my mom came to visit me, and she seen the piercing, because basically what I was doing my laundry or something, I don't remember, but I was doing something, and she's seeing my piercing, and she's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, what? And she's like, what the fuck is that? You've done that kind of shit, and right now what people say about you, what will people say about you? The same shit that I think the same shit that every parent will say to you is what the people will say about you, what the people will think about you. And then I said, Mom, listen, I love you. You gave me this body, whatever. And I appreciate that you gave me so much your time, patience, you nourished me for 17 years, etc. But right now I'm 18, I'm an adult, I'm working for it, and I paid that piercing from my own money. So you know, it's kind of not fun when someone is demoralizing you for a reason of another, just because you are afraid of what people will say. And she's like, you already know how the society thinks about this thing. How can you just like feel about it in this kind of shitty way in which you are just doing whatever the fuck you want? And I'm like, listen, for a reason of another, society will just bitch about you for all of your life, for any kind of shit that you will do. So don't ever think that society will give you a break. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel that society gave me huge amount of, you know, things apart of giving me shit for anything in my own life. So I was just like, listen, being frank, I care about what do you think, but I don't care about what the society think. If you think as a society and you say that for a reason of another, you just don't know me as your child, or you don't know who I am as a person, then we have to sit and talk. But don't make a stupid body modification, just think in another way. You know, I feel that this is something that I wanted to do for past I don't know how many years, and this is my path, this is who I am, this is what I want. So she's like, how that will make you happy? And I'm like, my own expression of my feelings or my things or how I see myself in the mirror, that makes me happy, believe it or not. So she's like, I don't think that this is something that you done just because of you. I think that it's something that you done because of everyone else is doing that. I'm like, I literally don't know anyone who done that kind of body modification at that point, apart of Britney Spears. But I was not influenced by anyone. I just wanted to do that, okay? And that's about it. One thing pulls another, and we literally started to fight so hard. I thought that it will be like the end of our, like, let's say mom-daughter friendship, and it literally went out to like really heavy, you know, confront. And I said, you know what, at one point I'm like, I'm not gonna say to you anything. If you think that only stupid people are doing this kind of shit, let me tell you one thing. Let me offer you a piercing. Let me offer you a piercing. I'm gonna pay for it, and then once you have it, you can talk about it. Because if you don't have it, and if you are like just bitching about it, that makes no sense. So you have to try it. As she always said, you have to try the things, and then you just, you know, bitch about it or say it's okay or not okay. And she said yes. I'm like, you're definitely gonna pussy out. You definitely not gonna do it, because piercing hurts as fuck. So you better think about it. And she's like, if you're offering it, count me in. I'm like, oh fuck. And I literally had the last money for that month. I think that was something 200 something for basically 2 weeks. So I'm like, I cannot back off, because right now she said yes, and she's that kind of girl that she will like literally go for it till the end, because she has that kind of ego as me, or I don't have, or I have that same ego as her. Basically, we both stubborn as fuck. So if it's a challenge, bring her in, because that girl is strong. So she's like, okay, let's go right now. I'm like, I'ma fucking spend all the money from my bank account just to win the game. Okay, let's go. So we are going to the piercing guy, and I'm like presenting my mom to him, and he's like, oh my god, you brought some. He's seen us entering into the room. He's like, oh my god, you have a nice friend. And I'm like, this is my mom, she wants a piercing, do it. He looked at me and he looked at her, and he's like, you have a cool mom, girl. I'm like, just take my money. So he's like, okay, so the first piercing, where do you want to have it? And my mom, I don't know, I'm not paying for that. And she looked at me and she's like, where do you want me to have a piercing? And I'm like, have a tongue piercing, Mom. And she's like, bring it. She's sad and she's like, I'm ready to die. And he's like, you have a weird family, Olly. I'm like, I know. The worst shit will be what you will say to your husband. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna win this shit. I'm like, ooh. She's for real. And he's like, okay, so shall I proceed? I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And literally everything was like, it took 5 minutes. He pierced her tongue and she's like, bitch, that doesn't hurt. And I'm like, yeah, that's the only piercing that actually heals like super fast and it doesn't hurt. It's not like you are basically biting your tongue or something. It's just like a needle passing your tongue, etc. But she just didn't even butter her eyelashes. She was just like, nah. I was like, did that just happen? Like, okay. So the best part is she came back home and she loved it so much that she had it for all of these years. And she started to like say, you know, on the pictures and everything, just to show it off. She started to literally show it off every motherfucking time. And whenever everyone were just like, let's take a selfie, she's like, just to show the piercing. Like literally I had also the tongue piercing at that time, but I would never say that my mom would do that kind of shit. And she's done it and she loved it. And guess what? She stopped to bitch about people with piercings and tattoos. She totally changed her mind. She's like, you know what, till you really don't do it by yourself, you don't know shit about it. I'm like, there you motherfucking go. Because guess what, body modification is something that it's like literally different and literally very particular. So if you do it with, you know, the background check and you know how will this impact on your life and you do it consciously, girl, do it. Otherwise, leave it, because it's not for everyone. It's fucking painful and it might be done without like any background thought and it's harmful. So you know what, just take a little bit of time for yourself and take it from me. I had good and bad experiences with tattoos and piercings, so take it from me. Think about it and do it in a professional way, because the first tattoo, for example, I've done in the underground place and I didn't even knew it. So that was a huge mistake and I really regret to do that when I was 18. I should just like wait, but right now it's too late. So, you know, think about it. So that was the story of me and my mom. I hope you like it. If your mom has a piercing, comment down below what she has. One thing, the earrings also are piercings. So, you know, you already know what to do. Subscribe, like, and ring the bell. If you don't ring the bell, jingle bell. See you next time. Bye.